Giselle, welcome to Halloween Daily. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Of course, I'm very happy to be here.
Of course, we are just all so excited right now for Halloween Kills, and the marketing for the film is in full swing as we're recording this. We're exactly 1 week away from the release date of the film, finally, and the marketing is everywhere. And you're a big part of that marketing. Your character is featured quite a lot in the final trailer and in the TV spots that are airing regularly now. And I just this morning watched a new clip that was released on YouTube, and there you are again with Salem and Kyle Richards. And so, I mean, it's definitely an exciting time for us to be a fan of this franchise, but I'm sure it's a pretty exciting time for you right now as well.
It is. It's very shocking because I see just to see myself what like from 2 years ago.
Mhm.
I looked very different. I
Mhm.
acted very different. Like a lot of things that I did just aren't the same. And it's like, oh yeah, that I did that. I said that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Definitely. It's definitely cool. Before we really get into Halloween Kills and getting your role and filming and everything, we always like to learn a little bit about you, and we do that through Halloween itself, of course, being Halloween Daily News, where every day is Halloween. And so I just want to first ask about the holiday itself. Is that something that you and your family celebrate and look forward to each year, or do you guys just kind of lay low through it?
We do celebrate Halloween. Um, I've celebrated it my whole life.
Mhm.
I have three little brothers. We're an autism family.
Okay.
So it's been more difficult since they've been in the family
Mhm.
to go out and like for Halloween. Um, but it's been very, very fun. And yeah, so I do celebrate Halloween. I dress up every year. If I don't get the costume that I want, then yeah, it is not good. But yeah,
Very cool. Do you have a favorite Halloween candy and a favorite Halloween costume?
that is a good question. Favorite candy? I want to say either I would like Kit Kats,
Hmm.
Reese's, and Double Bubble, I think is what it's
Hmm.
called. Double Bubble, the
Yep.
little tiny gum. Yeah,
Hmm.
I like those. Sometimes, if you're really lucky, you get the full size candy bars, or you get some Fun
Yeah.
Dip, and that's fun. It's called Fun Dip, so
Yeah.
I don't know. My favorite costume, like that I've worn or that I've seen people wear.
Well, you can do both, but I mean, definitely one that maybe that you've worn.
Yeah. Last year actually, I was Michael Myers.
Oh,
I
that's
got
awesome.
I went to Spirit Halloween, got a
Hmm.
$75 mask
Hmm.
from the franchise. It was
Hmm.
very pricey, but very worth it.
Yeah.
It was very fun, and everyone was like, okay. And I was like, just over
Awesome.
here with my fake knife walking around the neighborhood. And it
Nice.
was also during quarantine times,
Hmm.
like first year of COVID. So there weren't a lot of people, and it was mainly little tiny children. So I was like, oh, but I think that one would be my favorite,
Hmm.
other than maybe 11 from Stranger Things, which
Hmm.
was 2 years ago, maybe three. No, I think it was two.
Okay.
That was like filming time when my hair was short.
Hmm.
I think that was actually within the same month. I think we filmed in October, if I'm correct. Like,
Yeah, I believe it would have been October, September, October of 2019.
yeah,
Hmm. Very
yeah.
cool. Well, those are some good ones. Yeah, I love dressing up as Michael Myers myself still on Halloween, and it is always amazing that even young kids, way too young to have ever seen any of the films, are definitely freaked out when they see a Myers mask out in on Halloween night. So
Oh,
there's
for
definitely
sure.
something primal about that fear there.
He's way too pale.
Yeah, yeah,
And he's got
absolutely.
cracks in his face, kind of.
Yep.
So
But you
Technically,
got
that would be scary.
yeah, and now you got to feel a little bit of the fun though of
Yes.
being Michael Myers on Halloween. So when did you become interested in acting? How did this start?
I've always loved theater. I've
Mhm.
loved acting, portraying other characters, kind of escaping reality. When I was little, my family, mostly my mom, would always tell me that I was going to be an actress one day because I am very dramatic to this day.
Mhm.
And I'm also very good at like pretending to be things that I'm not,
Mhm.
I guess.
Mhm.
Like I'm good at improvisation, which is something that's like some people find very difficult.
Yeah.
But for me, it just kind of comes naturally because I can put pieces together in my head in a different way that other people can. Some people like, oh, I can't work without a script. I can't. And I'm over here like, in my head, it makes things a lot easier for me with improvisation because one, you don't have to take all your time memorizing something.
Yeah.
And it comes more naturally because it's going on in your head and you can kind of fit yourself into that situation more. And it's like you're the one designing it and it's not exactly something that you are given that you like kind of have to do.
Mhm.
If that makes sense.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's a fascinating take on it too. That I think is very true. That yeah, when you're improving, there is that extra layer of realism because it is coming from a more real place, even connected to the real you, as opposed to the you that is memorizing these other lines. Even as much as you can put those memorizations out of your head, the fact that they're memorized, there's a lot to be said for the realism of improv.
And when you memorize things and you're reciting it, you try really, really hard not to mess up your lines. And so you're
Yeah.
overthinking about the words and you're not thinking about your character. And that like some people they memorize the lines and they forget like inflection,
Mhm.
gestures, tone of voice, all of that. So they kind like you just kind of are like speaking like a robot and just
Yeah.
trying not to mess your lines up when that's not the most important part about it. Yeah, it is important
Mhm.
to stay on task with your lines, but it's also important to make sure that you're portraying the character itself.
I think that's a great point right there. And we'll talk a little bit more about a bit of the movie that we've seen in these previews in a minute. But I told Salem and just watching the bit we've seen on the swing set, just the bit of dialogue that we hear from your characters there. I told her, and I'll tell you, it does feel very real and natural and not scripted, but like the way people talk in real life. And so I think a lot of that it ties into what you're saying and finding that realism and not sticking so much to the exact words and phrases, but getting the idea across.
The fun thing about that scene is that it actually was not scripted. We were given lines. With one of the scenes, he did want us to kind of stick more to the script.
Mm-hmm.
But when we were on set about to film, I'm pretty sure it was a swing set scene. He was kind of like, just make it feel more natural, make it so like you're in this,
Yeah.
improv it, stick to the plot,
Mm-hmm.
but don't think about the lines too much because you'll mess yourself up. And I was like, you know what? That's a really good way to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually very helpful with filming. It definitely made things go a lot faster. I've seen like behind the scenes things with like shows and stuff where an actor would recite a line, get one word wrong, and would have to retake it over and over and over again until they got that line right. And that was something that I was very grateful that I did not have to focus on because I would have messed myself up many times.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about how you got the role of Mindy in Halloween Kills. I imagine there was an audition process. How did that go?
I could be wrong because it's been a very long time.
Okay.
But if I'm correct, I didn't have to audition for Halloween Kills.
Wow.
In 2018, I was at cheerleading practice outside. And casting director John Williams came up to me with his assistant. I don't remember her name, but they came up to me and our group, and they were like, hey, we're looking for actors and extras for a movie Halloween. And if you'd be interested, if you could give your parents a call and ask, then that would be great. And so I called my dad, and because I lived with my dad at the time, and I called him, and I was like, hey, Dad, can I audition for a movie? And he was like, sure. He didn't think I was being serious at all until like about a month later, he got a call back and I went in. And then I got another call back after that one and I went in. And the main thing that I remember out of everything is my scream. That is the reason why they brought me there. Because that day at cheerleading, I went up to John Williams and I was like, my parents always say I'm going to be an actress one day because of how dramatic I am. And he was like, do you want to try out for a role? And I was like, yes, I would love that. So I did that. And he was like, okay, pretend that there's a dude in a closet and he's going to jump out at you and try to convince your babysitter that like there's someone in your closet. And then he was like, so I did it. And then he was like, okay, scream. And I was like, you sure? And he was like, scream. And I screamed. And I was loud. And everyone was like, and so I was like, okay. And he was like, yep, I'll get back to you. And I was like, okay. So I filmed for Halloween 2018. It did not become a part of the production because it would have made the film too long.
Oh, okay.
So they didn't use it. But when they started filming Halloween Kills, I got my dad told me that my agent was like, you know, David, he loves you and he wants to just have you read some of these lines. He wants you in this film. So he changed the script to fit me in there.
Oh, wow.
And like originally, I'm pretty sure it was just Chrissy and Dennis.
Okay.
Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was just that. But they like, I think he like fit me in there somehow. And it was very cool. And I was like, I'm memorable to him. That's cool because like he knows a lot of people and it's kind of hard for directors like with those kinds of films to remember like not leads, like just side characters and extras. Like that was very cool and it meant a lot. To be like, he remembered me. I'm special.
No, that is great that he remembered you and yeah, I think that is special. Do you remember anything about the scenes that you did film in the 2018 film that didn't make the final film?
Yes. I'm sure I'm allowed to talk about it because it's a film that's already been released, so I'm sure it'll be fine. But so I was casted as it. I wouldn't say it was a side character, but I wouldn't necessarily say an extra because I wasn't in like the background of anything. I worked with Judy Greer, and I was with a group of kids. And we were supposed to be like at like a daycare kind of camp thingy, I think. Okay. We filmed it inside of a school. So like we were in like this little tiny room. We had to run. It was a very, very small room. I don't think it was the kitchen, but it was attached to the gym. And we ran out of the doors and we ran and we had to hop into a van. And I hopped into the van. They closed the door. Jamie Lee Curtis was standing right next to the van, swinging some keys on her finger. So that was one. Nice. And then another one was just a whole improv thing. The whole thing was improv. We didn't have a script for this because we didn't really talk much before this part of it. But so Judy Greer was supposed to be like the camp counselor, like the daycare counselor type thing. And so we were sitting around a table and Judy Greer was just asking a bunch of questions and we were just taking turns answering them. And I remember there was this one, I remember one of the kids. And the only reason why I remember him is because he would not listen to anything he was told to do. He was having an attitude with Judy and David. And I was like, I don't think you know what you're doing. They sent him in timeout. And I was like, yep. So that was that. That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Not what you want to do on the Halloween set is give the director attitude. No,
definitely not. If the director says to do something and you got to follow that, follow it. You could very well lose your job.
Yeah, definitely. That's great though, that again that you had that experience, and so you were kind of, they kind of knew you a little bit, and obviously your performance just in that little bit, even though it didn't make the theatrical final cut of the film, it sounds like David remembered you and liked what you did enough to bring you back into the fold in Halloween Kills. So when can you tell us again when you learned that they wanted to bring you back in for the sequel? If you remember.
It was it was the beginning of 2019, I want to say.
Okay.
Because filming was later that year, and it wasn't 2018, but it was after I moved with my mom, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, after I moved with my mom, and not like right before filming. It was quite a few months before. There was a countdown I had waiting up until filming days, because I was like, yeah, I get to skip school so I can go be in a movie. I'm so cool. It was very, very anticipating moments.
Oh, I bet. I would have been counting down the days too, I think.
Oh yeah.
And the skipping school is just the bonus, and yeah, I mean that's
it's
like
just
the cherry on top.
Extra perk that you can get.
Yeah, doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt at all.
No.
Yeah, but to be doing that and get to go make a Michael Myers movie, that's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, it was definitely very out of the blue, and like just to kind of be someone that gets opportunities that many kids my age or just people in general don't have. It's like something I'm very honored to have the opportunity to do.
Yeah.
Because it's something that I'm passionate about and I can pursue a career in. People do say it doesn't feel like you're working if you're having fun. So this is definitely one of those things.
That's great to hear. So you get the call that you're coming back, and now you're playing Mindy, and you're what we know so far. I mean, we've seen the trailers, and we talked to Salem, and you guys are trick-or-treaters, and we know that the Halloween 3 masks are going to come into play. But I guess I should say, before even the 2018 experience, were you at all familiar with the other Halloween films or Michael Myers? Had you seen the original film before 2018?
Michael Myers, I knew who he was. By name, I didn't know who he was. And I did not know the films. I don't think I knew them. But I definitely I knew his character. If I saw his face, I was like, oh, that dude. That was kind of what that was. I had not seen any of the movies before this time. Before ever being asked to be a part of a horror film. I was never into horror at all. I was very, very scared of horror, of anything horror related. Unless it was Sharknado, which I don't know if you would count that, but sure. Flying sharks eating people, I don't know. but that was like the only things I would watch that were
Mhm.
remotely scary would be shark films, and that would be it.
Mhm.
So yeah.
So what about up to now, up to Halloween Kills, like after 2018, have you seen the films now, any of them, or
I have seen 2 or 3 of them.
okay.
I am someone I procrastinate a lot. I don't like the idea of sitting and doing something for a very long time unless one, I have to, or
Mhm.
two, it's something that's actually beneficial for me.
Mhm.
Like it's fun. Like not saying that watching movies aren't fun. I'm not a big like sit down watch movies kind of person.
Mhm.
Like I don't binge watch movies.
Yeah.
Like especially with the Halloween series being as long as it is,
Yeah, there's a lot of
that's
them.
not something that I would sit through like for a while, but like over time I am planning to definitely finish the rest of the films. My dad has all of them. He
Mhm.
bought the whole collection of them at Walmart like 2 years ago.
Nice.
I'm getting on it. I'm gonna get on it.
Well, you got some time. You got some time still.
Wait,
But
actually, I think I've seen like 3 or 4 of them. I think I've seen like the first 3 and the
okay.
2018 one.
Okay. So you have seen those. Um,
Okay, yeah.
So back to filming Halloween Kills now. Can you walk us through a little bit of your time on the set? Was it one night or multiple nights? Do you remember about how long you were on set?
I was on set for 3 days, not
Okay.
within the same time period though.
Okay.
One scene took 2 days, the other one took 1 day.
Okay.
And they were not they were in like the same like city, same area, but
Mhm.
not like the exact same location.
Mhm.
One of them was inside of a studio, the other one was outside of the studio where we had to take a shuttle over there from the studio to there.
Okay.
So yes.
So what are some of your memories of like that first day on set and just getting there and meeting everybody that you can tell us about?
Okay. The main thing, like the first
Mhm.
thing that comes to my mind, is the fact that I had my own trailer.
Wow.
That was very cool.
Very
Me
cool.
and Salem and Gavin all had trailers.
Wow.
I'm not sure. I don't really remember which scene we did first. So I don't know if I met Salem before I met Gavin or not.
Mhm.
But we all had our own trailers, and they weren't big. They were little,
Mhm.
but like still,
Yeah.
like that's a big deal for me
Yeah.
at least. Just
Sure.
having my
Yeah.
own little room to get changed in, and like I had my own makeup artist and costume designer and hairstylist and all that, and that was very, very cool.
Yeah.
Like that's like something that you see in movies.
Yep.
And that was very unrealistic but very cool.
Mhm.
Also having the food was definitely something very out of the norm. Not the food itself, but the way that it was prepared, kind of like the way it was set
Mhm.
out. So like the big main characters or whatever, they like Jamie Lee Curtis
Mhm.
and Judy Greer, Kyle Richards, all them. They got to get food from this food truck if they wanted to. There was a food truck in front of this, again, for both the different times where I went into film,
Mhm.
this was set up differently. So the first time I went, there was just like a little tiny table here, like underneath a tent, and it was like kind of like a buffet type thing.
Okay.
Same thing with the other filming time,
Mhm.
but except it was inside of a warehouse type thing
Mhm.
place. So it was just like tables, and this is where all of the crew and cast went for this time. So like James Jude Courtney,
Mhm.
I think I talked to him in there for a split second, and that
Mhm.
was cool. I actually met him on a shuttle over to the swings, so that was fun. He's very nice.
What? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that moment, meeting him for the first time? I guess you knew that he was going to be playing Michael Myers at this point, and you knew. I mean, did you know who Michael Myers was at this point, filming Halloween Kills? Had you seen some of the movies by now?
At that point, I had not seen them yet, but I
Okay.
did know. I did know, but I
Okay.
didn't know that he is the person who played Michael. I thought that Nick Castle was still.
Mm-hmm.
I was wrong. I did meet Nick Castle
Mm-hmm.
in 2018 when I filmed for the first film that wasn't set out, but
Mm-hmm.
after I saw him in his costume or whatever, I thought he was like an understudy or something until like we actually like got into it, and I was like, oh wait, that's Michael.
Mm-hmm.
And like he was a very, very nice man, and he shook my hand, and like it was like a very loving grip. I like like how like people grip your hand as like they're really interested or something, like in meeting you. Like that's kind of how that was. It wasn't just it was like, and it was like, oh, that felt nice. Like that was cool. He's nice. So that was cool.
That is cool.
Oh, yeah. Another weird thing about, okay, going back, another weird thing about food on set. It is not in the order that you think it is. It's not breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's lunch, dinner, and then breakfast. So what you would think is breakfast, like for you like 10 a.m., you would go eat breakfast. I would be eating lunch, is what it would be called. And then the next for you, lunch for us would be dinner. And then at night, like in the middle of the night, breakfast. Because a lot of the filming took place at night rather than day. So I guess that's how they did it, was they switched the way it was called. And that was very abnormal. And it was very confusing for me to understand. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go eat lunch now. And they're like, no, you're not. You're eating dinner. And I was like, oh, right. It was very like weird because it was very like, they were just like, okay, everyone, go eat breakfast. And it was over here like midnight. And I was like, breakfast? Didn't we forget something? That's how that was. But those are the main things, like the trailer, makeup, hair, costume, food. Also meeting cast members was fun. So yeah, I think those are the most memorable things. I mean, other than filming itself, of course. There was one other thing though, and that was during that swing set scene. They had me pick one candy to eat. I had to pick one because, like, with filming, it can't like change between takes. So
yeah, it's got to be the same candy every time, right?
Yeah, I chose Junior Mints, and I decided that while I was swinging, I was going to eat Junior Mints. I got nauseous. And I had to get the nurse to take me over to, she had like this little tiny section, and it was like a table. There was a little like pitcher thingy, like with the little press down and cup. Like there was one of water and one of cucumber ginger water. So she was like, here, have this. I was like, what is that? She was like, it's cucumber ginger water. And I was like, that's interesting, but it actually didn't taste bad. It tasted quite nice. Very refreshing, but it was weird. And that's also something.
Man, so many Junior Mints, right?
Yeah, there was bad things going on with both of taking them. Not that the filming process was bad, just kind of one getting nauseous with the swing sets, and with my other scene, I got a headache from something, which I'm not going to say because that would give something away. Yeah. Therefore, I'm not gonna say it.
Absolutely. No,
but I did get a headache.
Very cool. Now, what we have seen in the swing set scene in the trailer and that's been released so far, we of course you're there with Salem's character and you guys are on the swings, and then Kyle Richards comes up as Lindsay Wallace. Now, this is a big deal that she's in this movie, for fans of the franchise. I mean, she was in the original, which is now 43 years ago that came out, and now she is back, and of course, that's a huge deal for fans. What can you tell us about working with her and meeting her on set?
She was very, very nice. She definitely was very loving. There was one moment during filming where I did have a little bit of a hard time, and I broke down a little bit. And as soon as we cut filming for that take, she came over to me and she was like, "Hey, are you okay?" And she like put her hand on my back and she walked me like away so that I can get some air. And she was like talking to me, like rubbing my back. And she was such a nice lady.
Oh, wow.
And very, very kind. And I felt very like respected and honored just to like kind of be there with such amazing people who had such like nice personalities and had good empathy for other people, and were very understanding. Because some people think like if you go onto a set, people are like, if you do anything wrong or you mess up, you're fired immediately. Because that's kind of what some people think is going to happen. Like you have to be a perfect person and you have to look a certain way or you have to act a certain way to keep a job. And in some cases that could be true, but not necessarily in this one, because it is a very overwhelming process. If you're sitting there for hours doing something, you get overwhelmed. If you accidentally do something and like you kind of get a little snapped at for it, like you accidentally like bump into equipment, or like you just say something that you shouldn't, which isn't necessarily what happened. I was just overwhelmed, and just it's not the case. They're very understanding people, and they understand that like you're human. Things are gonna be rough for you if they're rough for you, and it's okay. And it was very, very nice to have such supportive people there, including Kyle. She was very sweet, which was very nice.
And you mentioned earlier, and Salem told us a little bit about how that during that swing set scene that David Gordon Green basically had you guys just put away what was scripted and do, kind of improv the scenes. So given what you've already told us, I guess that was kind of freeing for you and kind of a better choice for you, I imagine.
Yes. Especially with me, I have ADHD. So focusing with certain things and hyper focusing on things that's like a very difficult portion of my time throughout the day. Like sitting in school, trying to focus on a certain thing can be very difficult. I have a very short attention span. So I memorize things fairly quickly, not saying that memorizing the lines were a problem or anything like that, but I tend to like hyper fixate on certain things. So sitting there for hours focusing on my lines definitely would have like made me very overwhelmed, and I would have like got into my own head like, you're gonna mess it up. You're thinking about it too much. You're gonna mess up what you're saying. No. So it was very, very helpful that he kind of took away that aspect of hyper fixating on lines and just kind of making it more like a natural perspective, so that I can really like fit myself into the character of Mindy. And it was very helpful with just kind of putting pieces together and making words make sense.
And can you tell us a little bit about, when you filmed in 2018, did you see Michael Myers on set at that time, or was when you were filming Halloween Kills the first time you actually like on camera laid eyes on Michael in full mask and everything?
My scenes in 2018 that I filmed had nothing to do with Michael.
Okay.
I mean, of course, in the movie it would have.
Right.
Because
but
that's the whole point. But they had nothing to do with Michael.
He wasn't there. Yeah.
No, I didn't know it was Nick Castle. But Nick Castle was there next to my dad. That was next to David. I don't know if it was David or Danny McBride. I actually think it was Danny McBride that was filming in this part of it.
Okay.
They were standing next to each other, and Nick Castle said to my dad, "Your daughter's very talented." And my dad was like,
wow.
"Thank you." And then he was like, that's Nick Castle. That's the original Michael. And that was very, very cool for my father, of course.
Of
which
course.
I technically met him, but at the same time I did not, like, I didn't personally talk to him.
Mhm.
But through connections,
Yeah.
I did. He was there, he was in the room. I saw him, just didn't know exactly, like, oh, that's Nick Castle.
Right.
But it's fine.
That's awesome. And then how about on kills when you guys are filming and we see in the trailer, like, it's basically your character has some of the funnest dialogue in the trailer. You get to kind of say when Lindsay's like, "What are you kids doing?" And you're like, "Well, it's Halloween. We've been out trick-or-treating," something to that effect. And then it's, look over there, and then we see Michael standing there. Can you tell us a little bit about filming that moment and seeing Michael now in full Halloween Kills mode?
Yes. So with, like, the trailer and that scene that was released the other day, which I'm actually kind of, like, confused as to how they got that clip. I don't know who that account is.
Yeah.
But I noticed that in that scene that I didn't yell "look" like I did in the trailer. And I was like, wait, so how does that work? I don't know. But it's definitely very different filming than it is, like, on screen, of course. Like, you don't hear all the sound effects. You don't like have the visual. For me, it was just kind of funny because I was sitting on the swing and, like, 100 feet away from me, or however far away he was just James Jude Courtney standing there with a mask and a knife in his hand, and it was just kind of like like, we knew he wasn't going to do anything. But, like, of course, like, with the filming aspect, it's definitely different because, like, in that, like, in that scene that was posted the other day, you just see a panel side to side from the side holding the knife to the mask. That definitely creates suspense, like, oh, he just killed a person, compared to what we saw, which was just an actor standing in costume holding some things, and just that, like, that was it. It was also, I feel bad for Salem during that time, because if you saw, like, in the trailer, we had to run, and at the time Salem had an injured ankle, and for filming she had to take her brace off and to put her leggings on for her costume, and she didn't. They were like, if you need to wear that, you can. She insisted. She was like, no, I'll be fine. And she didn't. I don't think she really realized that we had to, like, run over tree branches and stuff. There was, like, that there was one tree that we passed, and there was just, like, a root sticking out of the ground, and, like, I think I tripped over it once. I'm not sure, but I think I did. Like, it was painful for me to run, so forgive me for a second. But Salem's poor ankle. It was I felt so bad.
Excuse me. Yeah, she mentioned that sore ankle, and that must have been tough, and she was a real trooper for that, it sounds like.
Yes.
And so and I asked Salem about this too, in the trailer. It's a big deal for, again, longtime fans of the franchise to see that the Silver Shamrock masks are back in these new movies and featured, and with your characters as like these trick-or-treaters with these iconic masks from Halloween 3 that all of us remember, and it's just kind of mind-blowing to see them in these new films. Did you have any idea the significance when you were filming of, like, here are these masks that are like a big Easter egg for fans that love Halloween 3, or was it just, were you not aware of the significance of those masks?
Oh, absolutely not. I had no idea. I just thought that we were just, like, wearing masks for fun, until actually, like a few months ago, I was, like, I was just scrolling through Instagram kind of, and I saw, like, I think it was a picture of the masks in front, like, in a TV, I think it was. Like, it was like a little box TV, and I think it was like a preview for one of the like an older movie of the series. And I looked it up, and I was like, oh, these masks were carried through the series. Like, this is an Easter egg type thing.
Yeah.
And because like Salem would be with the trailer, you see on the little tiny merry-go-round thingy, you could see two people wearing the shamrock masks that are deceased. And she was like, guys, I think we die. And I was like, those are just, those aren't necessarily our masks. Like, we use them, but they're not ours. So it was confusing for her.
Yeah.
And for me too, because I was over here like, wait, but then I kind of put the pieces together in my brain. I figured it out. So I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense now. They're carried. So that definitely helped put pieces together. So that was helpful.
And you wore the witch mask. What was it difficult acting in that mask? Do you remember, what it was like having to perform wearing that mask?
I didn't wear the mask.
Okay.
I held it.
You held it. I got you. Okay.
Yeah, like it was with me, but like I didn't wear it. We had stunt doubles.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why we did. And actually, one of those stunt doubles made me and Salem quite frustrated because she took credit as Christy's character.
Oh, really?
And yeah, she blocked me and Salem on social media.
Oh, man.
Because we were like, hey, like, one, you're not supposed to be posting pictures on set. Two, that's not your character. Stop stealing Salem's credit. Because this girl has a way bigger following than we do. Like,
oh, okay.
She's younger than us, for sure. But like people would know her more than people would know us from previous things, not necessarily Halloween, but just like other things. So that was definitely something, but yeah.
But you definitely remember filming with the witch mask and having that in certain key shots and that being a big deal, even though you didn't really realize, like you said at the time, exactly what kind of a big deal it was or why that was a cool reference.
Yeah. And this is kind of related, but at the same time it's not, because it has to do with the costume. There was one day, like a few months before filming, like a month or two before filming or so, where my mom and I had to actually drive down to North Carolina to do a costume fitting. This was like a 6-hour drive for a 20-minute fitting.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And I was like, that was like in my head at the time, I was like, that was a waste of now 12 hours of driving back and forth to get there, because it wasn't even half an hour. I just put some pants on and my top, and I got my costume on, and they were like, okay. They had me try on the witch mask. And they actually, I think like the main portion of that was actually trying to get me to be able to see out of the mask.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't. So I think that the lady put like sponges or something inside of the mask so that like to hold the shape so that it wouldn't like go everywhere, and so I can actually see out of the holes. But I don't think that there was any point to that since we didn't end up wearing it. I didn't end up wearing it. So yeah.
So but at that point they did, at least they were considering it and trying to see if maybe so you did wear the witch mask a little bit, even though it wasn't on the screen. Because that's I was wondering if it was gonna like hard to see through and if that would have been difficult, because I imagine it probably would have been.
If I was wearing that mask while I was running, I probably would have ran into that tree.
Yeah.
I would have gotten a concussion.
I bet. Yeah. Yeah, I own a replica version of it, but that one, yeah, it's really kind of hard to. So I figured, you know, they would have had to rig up a special kind of to help you be able to run in it. Um, so here we are now. Halloween Kills. You know, you filmed, and Salem talked a little bit about this, and so I wanted to get your perspective on your friendships that you guys formed while you were filming. You and Salem and Gavin. It sounds like you all became friends off, you know, after filming was done, and have been in steady contact ever since. And now here we are. It's been 2 years since filming wrapped, and the film's finally about to come out. So can you talk just a little bit about those friendships and bonds made while you guys were filming Halloween Kills?
It definitely wasn't something that I expected like I would make friends with.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of thought of it as like a fun little acting gig.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it was like brand new. I'd never really filmed on a set before for a film. Mm-hmm. Like I'd done theater plays, but I hadn't done like film. So, you know, with theater, like plays and stuff, you audition with the cast, like in an area, unless you don't, but like you rehearse with those people and you do all that, and so you get to know them before like opening night. But in this case, like with film, that's not it. You just kind of, you meet them and you know who they are because they're in the script that you memorized, and that's how it is. And the main times we really had to talk, like where we got the time to talk, were when we had to do school. Mm-hmm. There was a teacher there on set for us. We didn't really do a lot. We just kind of did like our own classwork. Gavin and Salem are both homeschooled. I am not. So that was they were just like pulled out their computers. They were doing stuff. And I was like, I'll just do this pre-algebra worksheet then. Well, they were just, and I was like, okay. So that was fun. And we're definitely three very different people. Mm-hmm. I'm more rebellious. Salem is more of kind of, I would like, she's more sweet and like innocent and pure. And Gavin is kind of, I'm going to say this in the most respectful way possible, a nerd. Like he's into gaming and I'm pretty sure he's into stop motion and like film and all that stuff. And they are such cool people. Mm-hmm. Gavin does, as I said, he does film things, and he does coding, I think. And I think he does 3D printing, and he's in a lot of more films like Righteous Gemstones and an upcoming horror film. I don't remember the name, which I feel bad for, but I don't. And then Salem, I don't know if she still does or not, but she definitely like did cosplay of Lydia Dietz for Beetlejuice from Beetlejuice. Cool. I know words. And I just go to school and hang out with friends when I can. So we're definitely four very different people. Mm-hmm. We live in four different. Did I say four? I meant three. We're very different people, and we live in 3 different states. Which are actually all connected, but we have never met up, and we've been trying to do that since filming. But it's been very difficult with schedules and planning things out, and just like getting parents to want to drive to get us together again. Unfortunately, Salem can't see the film, which makes me and Gavin upset because we wanted to all get together to watch it. Yeah. And Salem is a state between me and Gavin. So like we probably would have all gone there instead of all traveling across Salem. But it's okay though. I understand she's really like not supposed to be watching that kind of stuff, and I get that. I wasn't originally supposed to be allowed to see Halloween Kills, but my dad's when I'm at his house, he lets me watch horror films all the time. And not saying that I necessarily love watching horror films, which I do. I hate jump scares. Which people, okay, so I live by Busch Gardens, like closer to it, and I have friends that are like, you want to go to Hollow Scream? And I'm like, not really. So I went the other day and I had to literally buy a $15 necklace that lights up so they don't scare you. That's what I did. People are like, you're in a horror movie, but you don't like being scared. I'm like, I like suspense. I like blood. I like guts. But if you jump out at me, I'm going to scream and smack you. Like at Hollow Scream, I was about ready to stab someone in the eye with my nail. It was not pretty. And I was very not excited about it, but it was still fun.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, and that's what Jamie Lee Curtis says too, is that she's not even a fan of the horror genre, but she respects that people do love it, but she doesn't get it and can't watch the scary stuff either.
For me, it's a very love-hate relationship. Either for me, I think it's the Salem Witch Project movie.
Oh, the Blair Witch Project?
Blair Witch Project, not Salem. Blair Witch Projects, where there's no jump scares throughout that whole movie. I found that very boring and very still and way too drawn out, with kind of no real plot to it, in my opinion. And some people, I have lots of friends that love the newer It movies, but I watched not even half of the first one, the more recent one, and I was like, this is going so slow. And the scenes are all drawn out very long. It's taking forever. And it seems like the same things are happening. And it didn't really seem too fun for me. So right now, I have an obsession with the Fear Street trilogy on Netflix. I've seen it multiple times. I'm trying to be Ruby Lane for Halloween this year.
Oh,
if I
cool.
can.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah, she's one of the Fear Street killers in the series. And she's not necessarily my favorite character, but she's one of the most simple costumes I'd be able to pull off, unless it was Skull Mask, which he literally just wears a skeleton costume and carries a knife around. But that seems really basic, and so I don't think anyone would get the reference. So that's kind of why I chose Ruby Lane. I also wouldn't have to wear a mask because she's one of 2 murderers in that series that doesn't wear a mask. So that would be helpful so I can breathe.
Yeah. Oh, I love those movies too. I watched all 3 of them and really enjoyed them. And yeah, that sounds awesome. A Ruby Lane cosplay for Halloween this year. I was going to ask you when you said you get into your costumes every year, what if you had picked out this year's, and of course you have. Of course,
I just don't know how I'm supposed to get this costume because I've tried looking it up, but it's not exactly it's not necessarily a costume. It's kind of just plain clothes. She just kind of wears a orange skirt and a little white flowered crop top type thing, and it's gonna be kind of hard to find where I could get those. Also, trying to find a cheap, old-timely shaving razor, that's going to be hard to find because I've tried looking them up on Amazon. They're $20 for the real ones. I can't find any props anywhere. So I'm trying.
Very cool. So talking about the new film's release and seeing it, and you have seen 2018 now. Do you plan to see the new film? Well, I mean, how old are you? Salem said she's 14. How old are you?
I'm also 14. I am exactly a week younger than Salem.
Oh wow! So you guys are almost exactly the same age then.
Yes.
Very cool.
And the weird thing is that she is a sophomore and I'm a freshman. I think it's just because that's how homeschooling works. I really don't know. Because I have friends in my grade and my school that are 15. It's very confusing and I don't understand how it works. I'm a Cancer, So like I was born in July. So
Mhm.
like I tend to be a lot younger than everyone else in my grade. I'm like kind of more average. So compared to how other people are aged, and it's always been very kind of confusing. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Do you have plans at this point to see Halloween Kills, or know when
I
you're going to see it for the first time?
I do. I'm seeing it not Thursday night at midnight because it
Mhm.
is school day and my
Mhm.
father will not be here. My stepdad is currently deployed. He's in Qatar. He
Oh,
comes
okay.
back near the end of this month.
Mhm.
He's been gone for a year. So
Oh,
it's been
wow.
hard
Yeah.
for especially for my mom having 4 kids all by herself for this long. Bless her
Oh,
soul.
man. Yeah.
It's
Really.
definitely been hard. And I like so we can't really go out to go see films because there's
Mhm.
no one to watch my brothers.
Yeah.
And so my dad is driving down here over the weekend, and we're gonna pick up some friends and we're gonna go watch it October 15th at 7:30. So I'm very excited for it. And
Oh, that's awesome.
I decided I really wanted to get bougie and go to a theater that has reclining chairs and little tiny tables that you can push out in front of you and has a little red button. You can press it, and a waiter will come and bring you a menu. You can get food while you eat.
Oh,
You can eat and watch the movie at the same time.
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, that sounds like the way. That is the way to do it. I think to go see the movie. Yeah, do it upright. That sounds great.
And I really, really like during the movie while I'm watching it and my scenes come on, I really want to stand and be like, that's me. But at the same time, like I don't because like that's just gonna interrupt everyone's like gonna be like, shh. But they'll like, be like, wait, that's you. And I'm just gonna be like, yeah, now watch the movie. But you were saying something. So definitely like after the film, like I've
Yeah,
had like this whole like kind of persona in my head that after the film, I'm just gonna be standing there with a pen
ready
or
to
like
sign autographs,
typing
right?
my signature into people's
Yeah,
notes and their phone. Like, hey,
yeah.
that was me in that film. Here you go.
I think it'll happen. I believe it. I believe it.
Why
Um,
not?
well, and that's kind of what I want to ask now is, I mean, you're 14. That's part of why I asked. I mean, this franchise it's been around for 43 years, and it's got this massive fan base, which I'm sure you're aware of now, and you're learning more about. And it's a very passionate fan base. And this is the 12th film in the 43-year-old franchise. They've already going into production on the next one to come next year, and
They already started filming?
I don't think they've started filming, but they're in like pre-production.
Yeah, I'm about to
Um,
say because um yeah.
but I just want to ask, you know, now you're a part of this. You're a part of this legacy of these Halloween films, and there's marathons every year, and there's everybody's got their favorites, and we all pick apart, dissect the scenes over the years, and I'm sure we'll all be talking about your scenes over the years too, and fans like myself will be picking it apart, just like we already have been picking apart the trailer and breaking down every little scene. So how does that feel to you? We're 1 week out from the release. You haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet, but the excitement is at an all-time high. The ads are everywhere. You're a big part of those ads, and now you're a part of this legacy. How's that feel?
It is so incredibly shocking, but it's also it's such an honor to be a part of such like a big franchise, like being the first slasher film in all of film production. Like it's so mind-blowing. No one that I know has this opportunity at all. Like I'm even in a school of the arts. I go to 2 different high schools just for theater so that I can be part of it. And no one else has had any opportunities like I have. And it's very, very cool. Like I was actually in class today, my last block. I was in Spanish, just listening to music. And there was a girl who ran into my class. I know her, but like we're not really just acquaintances. And she was just talking to like her friends behind me. It was a minute before the bell rang, and she was like, Giselle's in a movie. Like she's been saying that to like everyone like all week. And I just heard her talking and I was just like, what? Like, I don't have TikTok. And at a football game, she came up to me and she was like, Giselle, your trailer that you're in on TikTok has like 500,000 likes. And I was like, whoa, that's so cool. And like, it was just, it's like, my teachers are so supportive. Like they've shown the clips and the trailers in class.
That's
like
really
I
cool.
literally, all I had to do today, I told my teacher, my English teacher, I was like, they released my scene on YouTube. And she was like, what's the title of this video? She pulled it up. She didn't even ask me if it was school appropriate or not. She just put it on the screen. And everyone, because she was like, I might as well just put it on the screen because she was just watching it herself. And I was just standing there and everyone else heard it because she turned it up and it was on the speaker. And everyone was like, I want to see it. I want to see it. Giselle, can I look at it? And I was like, go ahead. And then she was like, you know what? I'm just going to put it up on here. And so that's just kind of how that's been. And it's very cool. And while some people are very excited about it, at my school, there are other people like, I've seen this clip like 15 times because my teachers just keep playing them. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but let me have my moment.
Yeah. Yeah,
this is
totally. Yeah, you gotta enjoy your moment. And that's so cool that your teachers are so supportive. And I was curious about that, how some of your classmates might be reacting if they're like, oh, she's, in the new Halloween movie and stuff. I mean, that's gotta be pretty cool.
It is.
Awesome. Well, this has just been great getting to know more about you and talking to you today. And I know everybody is going to enjoy hearing your story and some of your experiences on set. And it's been fun for me here, talking to like, we interviewed Salem a few weeks ago. And this week I talked to Michael Smallwood, who's in the film with you, and we interviewed Carmela McNeil recently as well. And it's just been fun, as a fan myself, to get to know you guys and to hear some of your stories on set and what positive experiences there were. And it just makes us a little more excited and happy that the franchise is back and in such a good place, and that you guys have such a good place in it. So I can't thank you enough for sharing this with us, and I feel like we're gonna have you back after the movie comes out, if you'll come back, and then we can talk about any of the spoilery stuff that we can't talk about today. After everybody's seen it, we'll have to get you back in here and talk about that.
Of course, it was so great being here. Thank you for all the support and for putting through that week of me trying to figure out if I can make it here or not.
Hey, no problem. Totally worth the wait, and no problem at all. We totally understand. And yeah, you're welcome here anytime. We look forward to talking to you again soon and following your career from here on out. Do you plan to? I mean, I assume you're gonna keep continuing acting and keep going on this track.
Yes, I am definitely, my top career path is in theater and entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So I for sure plan college is going to be for the arts, and all my high school is going to be School of the Arts. This is the second time I've been in the School of the Arts, so it's nothing new. And I'm glad it's not nothing new, because if I didn't know it was coming, this was going to be a lot more difficult for me than it is. And it just comes easy to me, and it's something that I love doing. So definitely something I'm going to be doing for as long as I can.
Very cool. Well, we'll be right here cheering you along and watching every step of the way. Again, this has just been a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here.
Having me.
And happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.